our region's business, improving our economy, creating jobs, and strengthening communities. Innovation, collaboration, transformation, and the people making it happen. Join us as we take a closer look at our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, a new initiative to tap a huge talent pool across the country. Skilled workers, usually women, seeking to re-enter the workforce. But first, one of the world's largest coatings companies, which just happens to be based right here in our region. Pittsburghers know it as PPG Industries, a name it's gone by for the past 50 years. Well, now in its 135th year, PPG has completed a striking transformation. The company that invented the mass production of flat glass now is all about coatings and positioning itself for growth in everything from autonomous vehicles to house paint. Michael McGarry is back with us. He's chairman and CEO of PPG Industries. Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Thanks, Bill. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I think the first time we had you on the program was a couple of years ago. As I recall, you had just acquired AkzoNobel's North American business. You consolidated the headquarters into Pittsburgh, and you were rolling out a line of retail stores under the PPG name. So how's it been going since then along those lines?
Actually, a lot of work's been done. As you know, the PPG Paint Stores have done very well. We're pleased to be there. We have a great relationship with Home Depot as well with the Glidden paints. And most recently, Home Depot rolled out PPG Timeless Paint and PPG Timeless Stain. So we're really pleased with the business.
So you've got some samples you brought with us today, right, that kind of illustrate the different way you're positioning the brand on these different channels you have now, right?
So you think about Manor Hall, that's when you go into the stores, the best paint available, and that's what you want to do. And if you go into the retail community with Home Depot, you can certainly get the Glidden products as well. So it's really good stuff for us.
And you're rolling out kind of the PPG identity more and more through the Home Depot channel as well to some degree, right?
Well, actually, that was all driven by Home Depot. You know, when we did the PPG Paints Arena, you know, we had them up here. They saw how committed we were to driving innovation as well as the name, and so they said, well, this will give us a new brand that we can put in our stores. You know, if we can paint airplanes, if we can paint cars, if we can paint John Deere tractors, certainly we can put paint on the wall in your house, and we do all that. And so they're really tickled with the opportunity to put PPG Timeless Paint in their stores.
That's pretty cool. A challenge, though, to work those two different channels. You're trying to build your own retail network of stores, and then you have those big box and the Home Depots of the world as well.
But if you think about it from our perspective, our stores are primarily focused on professional painters and contractors. And those are the people that come in our stores every single day. They paint every single day. They know what they need. And then they need technical support when they go into paint a hotel or when they go into paint a skyscraper of various kinds. Whereas the people that go into Home Depot, you know, they're mostly DIYers. And so they're looking for high quality paint that they can apply themselves. And it's a different outlet and a different target market.
So really complementary in that respect.
Absolutely.
You talked about automotive, and I suspect PPG's been making paint for the auto industry probably almost as long as there's been an auto industry. But I noticed recently you created a whole new business unit around mobility. What's the idea behind that?
So you have two big trends going on there. You have the autonomous trend, self-driving, and then you have the electrification trend. And both of those require different aspects, right? So if you have a car and you want it to be found by a LiDAR, you know, light imaging, radar detecting.
That's the spinny thing we see on top of the Ubers here in Pittsburgh,
that's
right? Yeah.
Well, those spinning things see a white vehicle very well, but there's a 30% less reflectivity of the paint on a dark vehicle.
Okay.
So what we've done is we've developed technology so the dark vehicles can be seen just as easily as the white vehicles, and we're trying to help them miniaturize these things, you know, because who wants a spinning disc on top of their car, right?
Sure, right.
So hide it in the bumper. So can we make bumpers that are translucent so that it will work through there? You know, keeping the lens clean. As you know, it snows here in Pittsburgh. It has other issues in other parts of the world. So you have to have self-cleaning lenses on there so they're available to be seen all the time. And there'll be other technology. We'll want to reduce the size of them, make them more cost effective, and things like that. So that's what we're doing on that side of the autonomous vehicles. You go over to the electrification side, we're going to be driving cars that don't use gasoline, don't use diesel anymore. And with that, you have a battery pack that needs longer range, right? Because most of them have a range about 250 miles. So you want longer range, so we're helping them do that. And those battery packs, as you see with airplanes and, lithium batteries, they don't want them in the planes, right? Because they catch fire.
Sure.
They call them thermal events, by the way, not a fire. But what we want to do is make sure there are no thermal events with cooling, and we paint the cooling tubes and we enhance the ability to protection of the corrosion of those batteries. So we have those two issues going on right now. And for the world's largest car company building cars out in California and Nevada, we're the primary paint supplier for those guys.
That's wild. A lot of the research to do all of this happening here in Pittsburgh?
Right here in Allison Park.
Yeah.
And as you know, Pittsburgh was the home of a lot of these initiatives with CMU, and now you have Waymore and Uber and folks like that. So we're here helping them shape the future.
It really puts you all, PPG, on the front line of making these kinds of vehicle technologies safer, right? If the robot can't tell, if the black car looks like it's farther away than the white car, that's a real issue.
That's a real issue, absolutely. Yeah, and it's not just that, right? It's also about how do you make it so that the car looks beautiful, right? So we protect and beautify. So our intent here is to make sure these technologies are seamless. And if you think about the future of the car, maybe you don't need a windshield, right? Maybe you have a video screen in your car. And because you don't need to look to see where you're going, because the car knows exactly where it's going. And so we make OLEDs, which is organic light emitting diodes. We have a great relationship with Universal Display Corp. And that way you can have very flexible, very thin film displays inside your car. So, you get in the car and you want to watch the news, you can do that. If you want to watch a movie, you can do that. All enabled by technology developed right here in Pittsburgh.
That's all very exciting, I think. I'm just to the point now I can handle the robot driving. Thinking about having no windshield, though, I think that's going to take a little longer for a lot of us. But it's amazing. It's exciting that it's all happening right here. Yeah. Well, when we come back, I want to pick up on there and talk about some of the other impact PPG's having. You're kind of painting your logo all over town these days. So we'll be back in just a minute with Michael McGarry, the CEO of PPG Industries, right after this. Stay with us, please.